Chapter 9, Section 5, about completing the square, and this is part 2. The only thing different that they're adding in today to yesterday's lesson is that now we are going to be given a c value, and our whole quadratic equation is going to be set equal to 0. The way that we need to start this so that we can use our completing the square method is that we need to move this c value over to the other side. And the only way to do that is to subtract it out of there. But remember that whatever you do to one side, you also do to the other side. That leaves us with this x squared minus 14x equals 16. Now I can follow the steps from yesterday and do my b over 2 to the second power. Okay, which in this case we have negative 14 over 2. So you have negative 7 squared is 49, and that's why they're adding 49 on both sides. Okay, when they end up with this x squared minus 14x plus 49, they factor it. Okay, remember that this here is a negative 7, so that's how they get x minus 7 squared is equal to 33. When I take the square root of both sides, I get just an x minus 7 equals the positive and negative square root of 33. Now, because the square root of 33 is not a whole number, they just estimate, which is why our equal sign turns into this approximate sign. And don't forget the plus and minus. Then this is where we split and solve. So x minus 7 is equal to approximately 5.74, or x minus 7 is equal to approximately negative 5.74. When I add 7 to both sides, I find out that x is about 12.74 or about 1.26. So the only thing that they added this time is that we have to move this c value to the other side so that we can complete the square. All right, let's try that with this one. I need to add 20 to both sides to make sure that I don't have a c value to begin with. So I'm going to have x squared plus 12x equals 20. First thing I'm going to do is b over 2 to the second power, which in this case is 12 over 2 to the second power, which is 36. So we're going to add 36 to both sides. X squared plus 12x plus 36 equals 56. When I factor this side, remember that 6 is what was inside here, so I'm going to have x plus 6 equals, equals 56. Then I'm going to take the square root of both sides, which will leave me with just x plus 6 over here, and the positive and negative square root of 56 over here on this side. Then I'm going to estimate the positive and negative square roots of 56, which is about 7.5. And I'm going to split and solve. So x plus 6 is approximately equal to 7.5, and x plus 6 is approximately equal to negative 7.5. Okay, when I subtract 6, that gives me x is approximately 1.5. Subtract 6 tells me x is approximately negative 13.5. Those are your two answers for this one. All right, I want you to pause the video here, give this one a try on your own, and then come on back and we'll go through it together. All right, so I'm going to subtract 15 from both sides, leaving me with x squared plus 9x equals negative 15. My b over 2 to the second power is 9 over 2. Okay, now remember, if I get something that isn't going to be a whole number in this b over 2 area, I'm going to leave it as a fraction. So this is going to give me 81 over 4, and that's what I'm going to add to both sides. So I have x squared plus 9x plus 81 over 4 is equal to, when I add a negative 15 plus 81 over 4, I actually end up with 21 over 4. Okay, then I'm going to factor this, which gives me an x plus 9 over 2 squared equals 21 over 4. Take the square root, and that leaves me with just x plus 9 over 2 equals, now I don't know the square root of 21, so I'm going to leave that on top for right now. I do know the square root of 4 is 2, and this has to be a plus and minus. Then I'm going to split and solve. Okay, so x plus 9 halves is equal to the square root of 21 over 2, and x plus 9 halves is equal to the negative square root of 21 over 2. Now when you approximate that square root of 21, we get, maybe, you can approximate it here, or we can actually do the minus 9 over 2. And then in your calculator, you can use that to help you get your answer. So over here, we have, I'm going to bring it up here so you can see it. X is equal to about negative 2.21. And this one right here is x is approximately negative 6.79. Okay, hopefully you were able to get something close to that at least, because now we're going to move on to word problems. Okay, first one, you're planting a flower garden consisting of 3 square plots. Hopefully you can see those here. 1, 2, 3. They are surrounded by a 1-foot border. That's this rock border that you can see. The total area of the garden and the border is 100 feet squared. What is the side length of each square? So what are these x's actually worth? So we know that we need the area of a rectangle, which is area equals length times width. We know that the area is 100 feet squared. So 100 is equal to, now my length, if I'm looking at it, is 1x, 2x, 3x's plus 1 foot on this side and 1 foot on this side, so just plus 2. The width is this direction, just 1x plus still a 1 and a 1, so plus 2. Okay, there's our formula. Now we're going to use FOIL to figure out what our actual quadratic equation is here. So first, outside, inside, and last. And then I'm going to combine these to get my 8x. And all of that still equals 100. Okay. Now I'm at a point that I need to move my c value so that I can complete a square. I will have 96 is equal to 3x squared plus 8x. Now before, we've never worked with one of these quadratics that has a has a number up higher than 1 in the a. So what I actually need to do is get that to only be a 1. So I need to divide by 3 here first with everything. Okay, well 96 divided by 3, we're going to move this up there now. 96 divided by 3 gives me 32. 3 divided by 3 just leaves me with x squared, and then I'm going to leave this as a fraction. Remember, fractions are actually better to work with in the end. Okay, now I can actually complete the square. So this time when I'm doing b over 2 squared, since my b is a fraction, I'm going to have 8 over 3 divided by 2, which is really the same as multiplying by a half, and then square that. So multiplying straight across would give me 8 over 6, which is really 4/3. And then when I square 4/3, I get 16 over 9. So that's what I'm going to use to add to both sides. All right, that will leave me, I'm going to switch it and put my what everything equals on the right side. So I will have x squared plus 8/3 x plus 16 over 9 is actually equal to 304 over 9. Okay, now when I factor, I have x plus that 4/3 that ended up right here. It was 8/6 that we reduced to 4/3 squared equals 304 over 9. Take the square root, which just leaves me with x plus 4/3 equals the positive and negative square root of 304 over 3, because the square root of 9 is 3. And then there's where I split and solve, and I'm going to take that onto the next page. So I have x plus 4/3 is equal to the positive square root of 304 over 3, and x plus 4/3 is equal to the negative square root of 304 over 3. Okay, when you use your calculator and actually estimate these, you find out that x is approximately 4.48, or x is approximately negative 7.14. But what I need to remember is that I'm talking about a garden here. Is it possible that these dimensions of my garden are negative? Since it's not, this one's not reasonable, then we know that our x values have to be about 4.48 feet. Okay, next word problem. Eduardo has 2 square pictures surrounded by a 2-inch frame as shown below. Okay, so this is 2, this is 2. The combined area of the pictures and the frame is 126 inches. What is the side length x of each one of these? Okay, so if I'm writing this out, my length equals, my length is going to be those 2 x's, 1, 2, plus 2 and 2 on each side, so plus 4, and the width is just going to be 1x plus 4. Okay, so when I FOIL, let's switch colors here. When I FOIL, I do first, which gives me 2x squared, outside, which gives me 8x, inside, and last. Okay, combining those, I will get 12x plus 16, which will save us some space. Okay, and then I need to subtract the 16, which will leave me with 110 equals 2x squared plus 12x. Now I need to get rid of this 2 in the a spot, so I'm just going to divide everything by 2. 110 divided by 2 is 55. Everything else divided by 2 is x squared plus 6x. Okay, now I can do my b over 2, so 6 over 2 and squared, which gives me 9. So I'm going to add 9. 55 plus 9 is 64 equals x squared plus 6x plus 9. Okay, when I factor this, I'm going to end up with 64 is equal to x plus 3 squared. Take the square root, and I get positive and negative 8 is equal to x plus 3. Now I'm going to split it. So I have x plus 3 equals positive 8, x plus 3 equals negative 8, subtract 3. X is equal to 5 feet. Oh, maybe inches. Let's see. Inches. 5 inches. And x is equal to negative 11 inches. But because I know it's a picture frame, that's not going to work out, and all my x values have to be 5 inches. All right, these are tricky. This is a place that you should pause. Try all 4. I'm only going to give you the answers, and then if you have other questions, we can go over them together. But come back and check to make sure that your answers match mine. This one might take you a lot longer than the other ones, but here's a great place to pause. All right, I hope you actually did take time to do these. Here are your answers. Number 1, your x values are 10 and negative 18. Number 2, your t value is 15 and negative 11. M is 14 and 21. And then z is 31 over 4 and negative 9. Okay, I think that's where we're going to stop for today. If you want to try this last one, you can. Otherwise, we may use this tomorrow. But your assignment is on page 564, 8 through 30 evens, 31, 43, and the list.